What's up, people? Thanks for watching. Welcome to the Becomings with me, Mo. Now, I realize I need to record more content. I was just educating myself. Well, I watch a lot of YouTube, and there were some YouTube videos that I watched, and I felt a bit shamed because I watch a lot of Netflix. Um, in itself, I guess there's nothing wrong with it, but if you watch it in place of doing something else that you should do, then that's bad. So I felt convicted. And instead of like just getting angry at the video or at the content creator, I decided to internalize that, right? And so I joined these networks, and I'm like in these different groups that I paid money to be a part of. And instead of utilizing these groups, I kind of take the easy way out, which in the end is the most difficult way because I end up procrastinating instead of refocusing my mind, instead of doing the hard work to focus my mind on what I need to do and getting it done, because I'm very capable and I know that I am. I've chosen to be mentally lazy. Not good. And I would, after work, I would get home, do whatever around the house and then just kind of chill. I may watch some YouTube videos. I may read a little bit, like Google some stuff, look up some stuff, and then I'm like cutting on a movie. Again, not good. So this one particular group, the Melanin Millionaires Club, they actually have educational videos on the platform that they use for the members to take advantage of. So I decided to look up some videos and like just start and not just watch the videos and like digest the information and then like partially execute or execute up until it gets difficult and then like just stop and go back to to a Netflix or something. Like, yeah. So not much progress has been made that way. So what I've decided to do was take it at my own pace, step by step, instead of feeling like I have to, because there was another group that I was in where we met every morning, and every morning it was something different. So if it was something that I did not accomplish, or if I got to a difficult point in my execution, I would just give up, and then it's on to the next thing. It's okay, well maybe this subject, this topic that they're teaching on will be a little bit easier. So I ended up getting a little bit done in many areas, but not much got completed. Not good. And they also had videos I can go back and watch, but I'm not going back to watch a video when like it's live every day. Excuse me. I just had the flu this past week, so I have some like leftover cough. Oh, side note, propolis, Propolis, I think is how you spell it. It is the wax that bees use to seal their hives. It is very good for like fighting off viruses, bacteria, and stuff like that. Many health benefits. And so I ended up getting some a couple of days into me having the flu. After about 4 days, you're not contagious anymore, but you still have some viral load and of course like the effects of it or whatever. But anyway, I found out about propolis after the me being contagious was over, and I ended up getting some, and that has helped like dramatically, like to dry up a lot of the mucus. This was the first time I coughed since like earlier today, like hours. It's probably like 2 in the afternoon right now while I'm recording this. Um, I woke up with this cough. I took some Propalis, like throughout the day, just kind of like broke off a piece of the wax and kind of sucked on it a while, and then like drank it, swallowed it down with some water, and it dries everything up. And then I got a little weak, and I ended up going to like a fast food restaurant, a local fast food restaurant, and got some chicken and green beans and hot apples with like some bread and honey. And oh my goodness, the bread is so good. But even though it's not like all that good for me, and the chicken is battered. Anyways, back on topic. Yeah, that caused the mucus to come back up. So I'm coughing a little bit now, but yeah, but Propolis really works. So, yeah, so I watched this video. And the one question that I came back to, this particular video was about brand building my brand. The question, what do you do? Well, the question, what do you do, is what I hear a lot. This is pretty much the same. What do you want to be known for? Right? And who do you serve? Crazy part. Why am I having difficulty answering those questions? Okay, so I settled on, and even though this seems so broad, right? Like I hear a lot like niche down, niche down. If you are trying to help everybody, you are essentially helping nobody. I settled on like, what do you want to be known for? Helping humanity to evolve. So I stopped and I thought about all the things that I'm passionate about, the things that I'm setting out to do, the things that I have done recently. Um, and now with Lifted Life's private membership club, right? I started that. We started having certain events, inviting people in. The most consistent one was karaoke night that we had every Thursday. Um, the whole point of that is what I call good people, right? And those are people who are empathetic, right? Who are integral, who are compassionate and kind, right? Just coming together, having a space um, where they could come together and like really create, because I feel like that's where you could be, where creativity really flows, when it's not a lot of negative energy, right? And when good people come together, good people don't always get along with each other, but the energy is never like negative. When it's people who lack integrity, who just don't care, who are all about themselves, um, when they are thrown in the mix, usually the energy ends up getting pretty thick, you know. And if it's a person with a strong personality who lacks empathy and integrity and all of those good things, right? Um, when they have a strong personality and they are around a bunch of empathetic people, kind, caring, compassionate, integral people, what ends up happening a lot of the times is those kind, empathetic people would kind of get smothered, right? Like they won't stand up as much. They'll be a bit more passive. The other person with the outgoing personality, it's like negative is loud, right? And those people, their energy, their forcefulness ends up becoming loud. And those good people would kind of be quiet. They would kind of like maybe huddle up to themselves, move off to the side, you know, and have their little thing. But the whole flow and energy is just off. It's not good. Um, And I've heard people over my lifetime complain about that a lot, right? Like trying to set out to do something great, and it's always like those couple of people, that wants to scheme, scam, manipulate, um, steal. They always end up messing stuff up. So, with Lifted Life Private Social Club, the goal is to create a space and an atmosphere where people who are kind, compassionate, caring, who are creative, um, who are just out doing stuff in the world, or who have an aim to go out and do stuff in the world but don't know where to go. A place for those people to come together, right? And to freely do what they do and to work together. Because I believe when that happens, when those people come together, great things are built, right? So I want to create a place with that intention, right? To just see like the miraculous things that can come out of it, that people can do when good people come together, right? The hemp farm town and hemp farms, that is about, right? Paradise Hemp, that is about a healthier planet, right? A healthier planet for humans, healthier humans for the planet, humans working together with nature, um, the way it should be, and just using hemp to heal the planet. The dispensary, like I'm all about cannabis. I love cannabis, right? I love cannabis, THC, CBD. I love cannabis. And so the dispensary part is about not just putting out a good product or providing those good products for people, but also helping people find the strand and the dosage that's good for them, because everyone's individual, right? Uh, so that product that's suited for your individual needs. And so as I'm thinking about these things, I'm thinking about um, what would help Black people in this country and in this world. So I'm thinking about what will help the youth as we're going into a new generation. As I'm thinking about, um, how all of this benefits Earth and humanity and humanity's place on this Earth. What does it come down to? Is a new evolution of human. Like what I've noticed is energies flow, leadership, um, energies within a group of people flows from the top down, from the leader, and it trickles out to the people that they are leading, right? For instance, you go into a store and the cashiers, the retail associates have a nasty disposition, or they're kind of like anxious and frantic and maybe uh, shy away from the customer as opposed to approaching the customer, and really helping the customer. If they're impatient with the customers or clients, when you check out the leadership, usually they're a bit screwed up, right? It's like the whole energy of the place is thrown off. You find those places, usually, you find those places where the employees are just great, they're personable, like the brightness within them are just shining through. Usually the leadership is like reflected in the leadership, like the leadership that their leaders are good, empathetic leaders, right? So the same thing happens within the world. I mean, just look around. I'm sure you can think of some examples, right? Like when you have good leaders, the people that they are leading just are different. Their energy is different. When you have poor leaders, those that they are leading aren't aren't as good usually, right? So that is part of the reason I believe that has to be the next leap in evolution for humanity. And we talk about, like, as while we're in the technological age, we talk about the next leap in evolution, in technological evolution, right? You know, the next leap in machines. We see the evolution in the pattern, and now as we go through like computing age, we come up to AI, and then there's quantum computing. There also has to be an evolution in humanity, and it seems that from the very first like tools made out of stones or sticks, as our tools evolve, we evolve, right? It seems to go hand in hand. It's like a direct correlation. The tools that we use and the brains of humans seems to evolve together. So in what way can humans evolve? What will be that next leap, right? There's always been wars. It's always been um, fighting, greed. You know, even before the money that we know today, it's when people fighting over wealth, over land, over territory. We know it's not necessary for our survival, right? Like we know that we could actually like get along and share spaces. There's plenty of earth. There's more earth, more livable earth than there are people, right? We know that the Neanderthals died out because they didn't know how to get along, right? They just weren't very social beings, right? That's why other haplogroups out of Africa and other places in the world lived and thrived, right? Because they learned to get along, to work together in tight knit communities and families for the survival of those humanoid species. One now with migration and like inbreeding and all that stuff, right? Like mixed breeding amongst the different haplogroups, um, and what we call now like different races. We have come to be a new species, and we live in communities. In these communities, like we should know that these communities do not have to war and fight with each other in order to like really thrive on this planet. And that evolution will be needed. We were talking about space exploration. If we come across some other intelligent beings, right, that are as intelligent or even more intelligent than humans, well, hopefully it won't be an issue of warring for territories. But if it is, we don't stand a chance of surviving if we don't get along with each other. Isn't that what happened with colonialism? Like they go around the planet, they find places and like use the differences within that place to highlight the differences. A house divided against itself cannot stand, right? We are humans, and humans, this house of humanity, this earth house, is divided against itself. That has to be the next evolution of humans. And it starts with the leadership. It starts from the top down. So how do you produce strong, empathetic leaders? This is what I'm learning. This is what I am studying. This is what I see different groups of people have studied over time. Um, and so we have a couple of things. All the things that I want to do leads back to just that. So when I say what do I want to be known for, it is helping humanity to evolve, to take that next step in evolution. Who do I serve? Strong, empathetic leaders, right? And I listed age 21 to 45. And my avatar is of a black female, age 25. And now I say that because that is just the age where the frontal lobe is developed, right? The seat of human reasoning is developed. You have a little bit of experience in the world, living in the world as an adult, but you're still young and fresh and have ideas. Like that seems to be like the ideal leader age and age range, you know. So the characteristics of a strong empathetic leader. It's excellent communication and active listening skills, right? These good leaders inspire people. They inspire the people that they lead to improve their own communication, right? Empathy is important because it allows the leader to understand the people that they lead behaviors, right? And really individualize strategies for them to increase their effectiveness, their efficiency and productivity. So like if you are leading people, the whole goal is not just to get people to do what you want them to do, right? Because all parts work together. We want to use people's strengths, right? Really with the things that people are really good at, where they thrive, right? Put those parts together. A person feels better when they're doing what they're good at. And since a chain is only as strong as its weakest link, if everybody is strong and that their strengths is being put out there, then you have a really strong chain, right? You have a really strong fence. So it's about those using your strengths to come together and making sure that all parts work together. If you as a leader, if you have empathy and you use your empathy, then you'll be able to kind of put yourself in the place. You'll have more compassion for the person that you're leading. Everybody's going through something, right? Sometimes people act out of those negative places, those negative things. But if you have empathy, then you understand that, and you'll be able to guide them to be their best selves, right? So that they can have better output. They can put forth their best energy, right? They'll feel better. They'll be stronger. The organization that you're leading, the group, will be stronger as a whole because of it. Strong, empathetic leaders also have integrity, right? It's important to be able to integrity, self-awareness, empathy, and gratitude, right? They're not entitled. They're grateful for the opportunity to lead. They're grateful for the things that come their way. They're grateful to be a part of this group, right? Leadership position is just that. It's a position. Doesn't make you a better person than anybody else, right? And that good empathetic leader understands that. They are integral, not only in that they are punctual, um, and do the things that they say that they're gonna do, but they also have the ability to admit when they are wrong. They are quick to admit when they are wrong and quick to correct those mistakes, right? Because that's what you do when you don't when you've wronged someone or you've made a mistake and you didn't mean to. That's a part of being compassionate. It's a part of empathy, right? They are self-aware. They understand they are human too. Nobody is expected to be on all the time. But if you're self-aware, then you can identify, like they talk about ebbs and flows in business. It's ebbs and flows in your life too. It goes up and down, in and out. Everybody's not on all the time. And when you're self-aware, you realize when you're having like one of those down days. You understand what you need to do to compensate for that, or if you need to just chill out for that day. If you are a strong leader, then those that you are leading are very capable and willing to step up and help. Just like ducks flying, right? In their formation. When the one in front gets tired, like they are cutting through the wind, right? They are using the most energy. When they get tired and need to take a break, they fall back and the next one steps up. And it's okay. And eventually they will get back into the head of the formation where they are leading the rest. So I was thinking about these things. And this is kind of what I've settled on. And I say kind of, I don't sound very confident or secure in that because there is a bit of self-doubt in there, right? I know for sure these are the things that I want to do. I know for sure these are the things that I am doing that I've already set out to do. There was a time when I was selling weed, and when I wasn't just selling weed, I was talking to people because I actually like the benefits of cannabis, right? Like I believe in it. I see the effectiveness of it, right? I also see the effects that it can have if it's misused, right? And without the proper education, it's easy to misuse anything, any herb or medicine, right? So I would talk to people. People talk to me about the things that, like, people enjoy getting high, but not everybody wanted to get high, or not everybody's sole purpose for using cannabis was to get high. People had legit things that they were trying to help with, right? And so I had the opportunity to talk to people about these things and talk to them about what I learned about different cannabis strands and kind of work with them on dosage. Like I've encouraged people to get scales and to weigh out the amounts and see what works for them as opposed to just rolling up a blunt or packing a bowl or going to grab a vape or just eating an edible, to actually weigh it out and to say, okay, well, maybe it's not that this wasn't a good strand. Maybe I just used too much at one time. Or maybe this particular strand, I just need to use a little bit more. I didn't use enough. Like there was this one person who rolled blunts, but then they switched to J's, and you ain't really take a tolerance break, and you going from smoking this amount that you put in a blunt, which is way more than you could roll in a small J, and then you're wondering why it ain't working the same. Why it don't hit the same, or you feel a little buzz, but it didn't quite help you sleep, or So we talked about dosage. We talked about having the right strands that had the right mix of cannabinoids and terpenes. Also, the foods that you pair it with, because cannabis isn't the only thing that have terpenes or cannabinoids. The other foods too, and the foods that you eat along with it can change the effects that it'll have on your body. So we talked about these things. And I enjoy talking about these things. But that's not where I personally want to stop. Like, my goal with that part is to partner with other people who are just as passionate and knowledgeable, even more knowledgeable than I am, in cannabis and in cannabis strands, to conduct some civilian studies, right? To put the information out there, because not enough of that is put out there, right? To work with some healthcare professionals to see how cannabis can help, to help alleviate and cure a lot of ailments in people. You know, VCU actually stumbled upon, they were the first to put out a report saying that cannabis cures cancer. And they discovered it by accident. But that was quickly pulled back on some other shit. But you know, and we're right here in Virginia, right? VCU. So that is the next step, or that is one of the next steps, right? To go down to the cancer center and see how I can make that happen. Because I don't know how, but I know it has to happen, and I know it's possible. I just gotta, it's just about who, right? The hemp farm, right? I've been talking to some people who have different farms. Like I got the propolis the other day. That was a really nice lady who has a bee farm, not too far from the city. And she was telling me about some programs that she went through and the connections that she made in this urban farming program. So I'm like, okay, well, maybe, you know, that's an option for me. So I signed up for the waiting list. I'm still connecting with other farmers to get information to build these relationships, because as I grow the hemp, right, they're gonna need it. They can use the hemp for bedding. They can use it as a crop, a cover crop in between crops to replenish their soil. They can use it in like feed, you know. It's good, it's beneficial. And then in addition, they would have other resources and knowledge that'll be beneficial to me in growing the farm. They may have other resources, you know, like people resources and other types of resources that's beneficial. And then there's the private social club, right? And that is truly aimed at leaders. So as I move about in the world and actually like step outside, get outside of my day to day, get outside of myself and go and meet and talk to people, that's going to start to form the right way. Events like karaoke night, date night, and stuff like that, that was fun. That was fun. That could be used as a thing. That was really fun, and people enjoyed it. Like, people came who would never like get up and sing in front of a group of people, and they got the mic and they sung along, and it was good because you have the support there. You got people there that's like cheering you on, that's encouraging you, right? It's like an African proverb. I don't know what country in Africa, West African, narrow it down a little bit, proverb that says, if you have a voice, you can sing. And if you can walk, you can dance, right? And that's beautiful because it's true. Like, who cares? Like, Not everybody's trying to like be like the best singer. Not everybody's trying to cut their album. But so you still sing. It's like a certain type of joy and happiness that comes out when people are singing, even horribly, especially if you sing horribly, you just kind of belt it out proudly, and you can like feel and hear the fun in their voice, like living in that moment. Like that is the best feeling to experience firsthand and to witness somebody else experiencing. Like that's beautiful. That's beautiful. Or somebody that's just like dancing like nobody's watching in a crowd of people. That is beautiful, right? Like to be that free and happy and just be you. And that's how people should be, I think. That's how the world should be. But you can't control anybody else. You can't make anybody else do anything. You can't even really convince people all that much. But you can grow it. You can build it. You can inspire it. So like the more I see people go out just being themselves, the more I'm inspired to be myself. And the more I'm inspired to just be myself and I just do me, the more I see people around me doing the same, like just being that self. And I always use this as an example, right? Like growing up in the black community, you ain't listening to no rock and roll, right? You'll hear the people saying, oh, black people made rock and roll. They stole it from us. But you won't hear them cut up no rock. You won't hear them listen to certain alternative music, right? And when I did as a teenager, I got labeled, oh, you a white girl. You black, but you're a white girl. You listen to that white people music. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't normal. It wasn't just like the thing, like, oh, people just like music, right? It was, no, you listen to the white people music. So it's a whole revolutionary thing as I got older, and now even through my adult life, riding through the hood, blasting, for instance, 21 Pilots, or oh my gosh, All Star at one point was my favorite song, right? Hey now, you're an all-star, get you. It's an all-star rock star. Anyway, get your game on, go play. Hey now, you're an all-star, get the show on, get paid when all that glitters is gold. Only shooting stars break the mold. It's a cold place, and they say it gets colder. You want it up now, wait till you get older. But the BDM man beg to differ, judging by the hole in the satellite picture. The ice we skate is getting pretty thin. The weather's getting warm, so you might as well swim. The world's on fire, how about yours? That's the way I like it, and I never get bored. Hey now, like, I used to love that song. I used to wake up, that was my get in the shower, get ready to go, like, you face the world song. Riding through the hood, I had that song playing. As soon as I hit the hood, I gotta turn it right down. Because it was like a deep shame associated with liking music that wasn't rap or R&B. That's crazy to me. That is so crazy to me. One of the things that I saw, I remember I was with a group of people, and I was at Myrtle Beach, and we heard, like, we're walking down the Broadwalk, and we hear like this music, rap music blasting. You can feel the bass in the ground. We're thinking we could turn around and this is gonna be like a bunch of brothers banging this music or something. We turn around, it is some like country looking white boys in these trucks with these big wheels and lights underneath and all. It was like, what? Banging this rap music. Of course, the next thing was, let's wait till they get to that part. They better not say nigga. Funniest shit ever. But while I was right along with them, like, let's see what they say. At the same time, I was like, hell yeah, you like what you like. Fuck a stereotype, right? Like, you like what you like. And the sheer fact that they won't dress like they were trying to look black, they look like some hillbilly white boys. I was like, okay. You like what you like. It is okay. You ain't trying to be nobody other than yourself. I love it. The whole thing. So just be you. It is such a relief to just be able to be you and it be okay, right? It being a revolutionary thing, like, yeah, you put your emotional armor on and you're like, fuck you, I'm gonna do this. This me and what? What? What you got to say? So I'm waiting to tell you off. I'm waiting to read you, because what? But who wants to feel like that? Like, who wants to be in that mode all the time? Right? Like, it is the best thing to just be you and it just be natural. And it's just, you. You ain't got to fight nobody to be you. You ain't got to justify to nobody to be you. Right? You ain't got to come up with no excuses. You ain't got to, well, I was born this way. Well, I like this since I was this. And I grew up this way. People in my family didn't like, but I like this. You ain't got to try to justify. You ain't got to prove this. You ain't trying to be like nobody else other than yourself. To just be. And also to allow other people to just be. That is the most beautiful thing. These geese over here, they not trying to be the dogs that run through the park. They not trying to be the ducks that swim in this pond. But they still go swim freely. When they take off and take flight, ain't nobody saying, oh, you trying to be like the eagle in the air because you flying. They doing what they do and they just being they self. We want to compare ourselves to animals, just be. And allow other people to be. They not telling the cat to come hop in the water and swim around with them. They not telling the pigeon how to live their life. They just existing. And they letting the cat be the cat. They letting the pigeon be the pigeon. And it's a beautiful thing. Us humans can do the same thing. We are one people made up of many different shades, many haplogroups, many cultures, many religions. And that is okay. And we can coexist. Every time I see somebody with that bumper sticker, I'm like, hell yeah. We can coexist. We can do more than coexist. We can collaborate. We can work together. We can build great things. And we can make this world really, really freaking great for our future generations. So I am Mo. And I want to be known for helping humanity to evolve. I serve empathetic and strong leaders between the ages of 21 and 45. Thank you so much for listening. I'm going to still put it out there. Get the book on Amazon, Cannabis Chronicles, Unleashing Your Perfect Strand. And stay tuned for more. It's going to be fucking great. You want to be a part.